Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome to yet another Valence League broadcast. I am Brackish Brit. I have stolen a Jika and brought her here. If she says it's against her will, she is actually lying. I would like to make that very clear. And we are here for a good old bout in Valence League Division 2.
I'm stuck in a box. Help me!
No, everything's fine. Division 2 Group B, in
Yes.
fact. And well, there's a bit of an angle we probably need to talk about off the bat, Jika.
I think there is, and I think we're on two different mindsets with this one because there's two things we want to talk about.
Let's pretend that we are competent casters and let's talk about the actual stakes of the game and such like. So obviously, we're talking about Group B, Frostbite Gladiators versus Full Counter. Full Counter, unfortunately, have yet to get their counter off of the 0 mark, yet to find themselves the win. Frostbite Gladiators, however, currently 2-0, wanting to set themselves up ahead in Group B. Because right now, they are sat right next to Deja Vu and just slightly behind Quantify that currently sit at the top.
It's actually a three-way tie.
Oh, so it is. Yes.
It's a
Sorry,
three-way tie and a two-way tie.
I read it wrong because Quantify has played 3 games. So Frostbite have the opportunity to go clear at the top since they and Deja Vu both have that game in hand.
So definitely looking like a good chance for them to pull ahead of the competition. On the other side of the table, Grace Light Violet and Full Counter tied at the bottom for fourth, fifth, both at 0 points. But Full Counter do have a game in hand over Grace Light Violet, so can pull ahead with this series if they even take so much as 1 game away. I believe that's how the point system works. Could be wrong.
I believe so. Oh, I will wait for production to confirm that.
Yeah.
But yes, Full Counter obviously very eager to get that number off of the 0 mark, as we said. We can talk about numbers, however. I like narratives, Drew, and well, we've got one. We've got our headcaster himself, the mighty Sir Jonjo, is playing in this match today for the Frostbite Gladiators.
Yes, he is. And on the flip side, we have Fourth Wall's very own Old Boy playing for Full Counter in the bot lane. So it's a top lane versus bot lane matchup in terms of people that we know and love. But it's going to be interesting nonetheless. However, we have just had word that Frostbite Gladiators will lose the first 3 bans in all games. They use their emergency sub, Elmar, in their series versus Full Counter. So
well, that makes draft
disadvantage.
That's gonna be a really nice thing to hear for Full Counter. That's a mark in their favor. It's gonna make it a little bit easier for them to get a draft that they are very much happy with. And of course, conversely, it means that Frostbite may have to, well, they're going to have to be extremely selective with what they choose to take away, especially in this very volatile new meta that we have found ourselves in after the 13-10-80 carry item changes, the rejig, the end-cheapening of Lost Chapter. There's a lot of good things right now, and only being able to ban 2 of them, especially on red side, could be a huge disadvantage.
Definitely could be. Now, let me find out quickly, because we have had a new jungler make their way forwards on this patch as well.
Are we talking about... I don't know if it's actually good. It's
definitely strong. It's definitely strong.
I mean, I played 2 games of it in Clash and it worked, so...
But I'm just trying to find out if she is indeed enabled. Since
certainly heard nothing about her.
Rework.
I would absolutely adore to see the Jungle Rel come through. I've got a lot of things to say about it. I mean, you were in my Clash team at the weekend, and yeah, she can really do work. She is really solid after they added the camp bonus damage on both her W and her Q, I believe. Yes, yeah. Extra monster modifiers on both W and Q, and the extra attack speed she gets while dismounted is really, really good. People, if you'd not heard of this before, very simple. If you think of her like a Sejuani, like basically any other tank jungler, she's really good at peeling. She's very good at engaging. She's very, very low eco. You can get to 2 items and be very happy. Just grab Sunfire, grab Radiant Virtue. You're laughing basically for the rest of the game. You can give up all of your camps across to your carries.
Yep, and it does seem she is enabled everywhere tonight.
I would love to see it. I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm not going to get my hopes up too much just yet. But I would love to see it. Also, actually, you know what? No, I will save extra talking about the Rel for if we actually see her, because obviously there are some tech things that you can do with her, as you again saw. You've been subjected to my Rel jungle a few times, as I said. So we'll see, obviously, if the teams are aware of the intricacies that the newly reworked Rel has.
I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be nice to see just how she goes. Now, I believe we should be into Champions Select very, very shortly. So, I mean, I just can't wait to get into this. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting series. I think with this patch being as unseen as it is globally, almost, I'm excited.
Yeah, we're only a couple of weeks of play across the whole world. We've seen a little bit in LPL. LCK just started up. So, yeah, the meta is very fluid right now. Obviously, we have seen a lot of people gravitate towards the new Nico. I love to see it. I don't know if you saw a particular clip of... Oh, I am forgetting which mid laner it was,
Yagao.
pretended to be a Scryer's Bloom. It was Yagao, yes, BLG
I mean,
Yagao.
he also pretended to be a control ward, so when Jinx ult went over the control ward and didn't hit him...
That works?
Uh-huh, you avoid skill shots if you are hidden as anything that cannot be targeted by them.
There are so many just... Oh, man. There are so many giga brain plays you can make with this champion. I love it. I didn't realize. I thought, all right, yeah, no, you're still a Nico, right? But
Nope.
that's amazing. That is actually superb, and I am 1,000% here for that.
It's gonna be exciting, especially with 3 bans gone. I mean, Nico, Lucian, Zeri, Melio.
Yep.
So many power picks are gonna make their way in. I mean, I've seen
Please
a lot
not-
of how these
please
work
not
on live
Yuumi.
patch.
We
I've seen
saw
how a lot of
LCK
these-
start up. We saw LCK start up, and the first game, Yuumi got first picked. And I don't want to live in that world.
you know what? I think the new Yuumi is a lot more fun to watch.
It's still Yuumi though. It's less bad than it was, but that doesn't mean it's good.
I think it's more interesting to watch than bloody Lulu Melio over and over and over again.
We'll see what happens. Obviously, Champ Select hopefully should be but moments away. And just taking a look across the individual things, I particularly like, before I start flaming Jonjo later, talk about preferred picks. Jonjo we know to be a big Poppy enjoyer. I think that she is certainly situated to do quite well. And there's also, I don't think it's come through just yet, but I noticed that he is a fan of the Rumble. And if I recall correctly, there's a whole slew of very interesting Rumble changes just on the horizon.
Next patch. And we are into Champions
Yeah, I thought it was
Select
13-12.
as well.
We are indeed. Obviously, we do have to wait for the Frostbite Gladiators missing bans. I don't know if they're going to allow placeholders. Probably not, just for the sake of allowing all things to be picked. Don't want to accidentally ban something that ends up being played.
Very annoying.
That would be...
You can't ban none.
That is very interesting. I do wonder why they don't do that. I guess it's to prevent trolling, but surely if you're playing at this sort of level, you wouldn't expect that. There goes John Joe's Poppy. We talked about it oh so very briefly, but there it is gone.
Gone with the wind. Which is funny,
I
because
wonder
I've
then.
got a fan going at the moment.
I've got one here. I haven't bothered turning it on yet this year. I think it's getting to the point where it may have to be on. It's just, it is so warm.
Sweltering.
With the Poppy ban, there's obviously is a target ban towards Jonjo, but it also might be indicative of what is actually, full, what, I was going to call them full clear, that's not their name. Full counter. What full counter are actually wanting to go for here. The Victor does get taken away. Flat Police.
Victor one trick.
Yeah. He plays a little bit of Victor. Here
9
and there.
out of the last 10 games on Victor.
Yeah, exactly.
Only 2 of them losses. That's a scary win rate. That's a very scary win. That's 7-2. That is a... I'm not going to do the maths in my head because I'll screw it up. It's a lot. So
You set yourself up for failure there.
Yeah, I did, didn't I? But the Poppy, also a very strong flex, can very easily be taken jungle, can very easily be taken bot lane, and you're getting rid of this Ezreal that, well, both of the AD carry players play.
Yeah, it is Shenzin's most played character, although... second most played, but highest win rate for champions with a, more than a handful of games. I do like to see a couple of spicier picks in that list. I see a Karthus, which is always cool to see. I do love it when teams go, okay, well, we can just pull out, we can put our AP to bot lane. I mean, totally not because I play a certain bomb spamming Yordle, but that's by the by. We have some picks coming through. Melio, you were talking about how you're not a huge fan of this champion, perhaps, but has been locked in immediately. Lucian is available, very strong, very oppressive duo, although the Thresh, I think, is a solid answer. You can play like a hyper carry like the Aphelios or the Jinx, give it a little bit more safety with the Thresh, and Wukong has just been good basically forever.
Now, I'm curious. Is this a proxy? Or is this actually an Amumu pick?
We will have to see. Obviously, production will let us know if that is the case. But for now, we will believe that is an Amumu, and it's the Jinx that gets locked in to go with the Milia. So we are seeing pseudo standard, seeing hyper carry towards the bot side of the map. We knee into the second phase of bans. Have to see where the Gladiators want to go ban-wise. I wouldn't be surprised to see them ban out a lot of bot laners. Although, of course, the flex option of putting Swain to the bot side would be a... would be interesting to see if the Gladiators do choose to heavily ban out bot.
Yeah, I mean, Swain notoriously very bad into Melio. Notoriously very bad into Melio.
I mean, if you're gonna want to try and go forward with Demonic Ascension, then yeah, super mega kick. Get him out of there.
Got 2 super megas in the bot lane. Wow.
Melio's is slightly different, isn't it? It's like ultra mega flame kick or something silly like that.
I don't remember. I've not bothered.
I swear, they named.
I'm not casting the split.
I swear, they named that ability just to make casters' lives difficult.
It is ultra mega fire.
Ultra mega.
Let's head back to draft as we see Camille and Malphite bans and Silas and Gnar bans. Which
Big
tells
top
me
lane
that
focus.
Swain could actually just be going top mid, honestly.
I mean, you can flex it into 3 different roles, so we'll see how long they can hold on to that. Obviously, they do need to show some information with what they pick here. I certainly don't expect to see Swain bot side. There is the Varus that well, we say that, but I have seen Varus towards the top side.
Varus top, yeah. We both know.
I don't expect it.
Terrifying.
I mean, in the current meta, obviously, in current year, when we have this current iteration, of Rageblade. Just put your Varus in the bot lane. Get him to 2 items. He's going to be an on-hit monster. Throw a Nash's Tooth on him. He's going to one-shot people. Good times.
And there's an Ahri going towards the mid lane. And Varus Jinx lane is shockingly, like, Varus favored. You outrange her for the most part, unless she's, like, spamming rockets, in which case her mana bar is depleting quicker than, quicker than the polarized caps are melting. So,
Oof.
I don't know where I was going with that. I just had to pick something.
Oh no, you just took a left turn to the Shadow Realm. Kennen will be the final lock in. I do like the potential. It is, but I like the team fight composition we've already got set up. Kennen can go in from the flank, and Mumu can set things up with Curse of the Sad Mummy as well. You've got big AoE damage and lockdown. However, if there's something beefy enough, then you may just have this Mundo kind of sit and laugh in the middle of it, absorbing all of that damage, and then pressing the ultimate, juicing up, and running at their carries.
This is really dangerous, though. You've got a Swain, a Mundo, and a Wukong. Your only AD is a Jinx. Who is going to do part magic damage anyway because of how AD carry items work at the moment.
So, Kraken Slayer did get changed back to being physical damage.
Did it?
Yes. Because it's, because it's present in almost every AD carries build, I believe. On 1311, it did get switched back. So it will be
rapid fire Runans, I think, are all magic damage though.
I believe so, but we should see Ramco still putting out pretty much exclusively physical damage.
I mean, your top side just never gets to deal with Mundo. This is a very brave.
Yeah, it is all on Ramco.
Yeah, this is a very brave draft to be coming forward. I mean, you've got 4 relatively tanky members on the enemy team. The only person you're going to be able to one-shot is Varus.
Yep.
So Kennen and Ahri really need to be playing for more sustained damage in this game. Otherwise, what are they going to be doing other than just buying space for Jinx, which in most games is fine, but when there's a Varus, a Swain, and a Wukong who are looking to get on top of her at the start of a fight like that, really hard.
It is kind of sort of scary.
Yeah, it's very, very, very terrifying, in fact. Quite a predicament to be in.
Well, the presence of the Milio is going to make Jinx's life a tiny bit easier. Obviously, no random wayward never move will be able to lock her down as long as Shenzhen remains at a comfortable distance.
Counterpoint.
Point to counter.
Goes in. The Q comes out from Milio, then Wukong goes in, and what the hell are you going to do? You can't cleanse a knock-up.
Exactly. That's what I was going to get to. Yes, of course, Cyclone is going to be a great answer into the ultimate of Milio. I've forgotten its name because this champion is new. Breath of Life.
I mean, the warm hugs are only going to do so much.
Very true. It really is a case. Can Ramco wait until the engage options, which are actually, frankly, quite limited from the side of full control? I keep saying full control, full counter.
You say
I need to write a note down.
I think they have full control this game. I'll be honest with you. I mean, looking at what they've got, there's a Wukong, so you've got Nimbus Strike Cyclone. You've got Swain, you've got Nevermove. You've got Varus, you've got Chain of Corruption, and Hail of Arrows to an extent. That slow is shockingly strong. And then you've got Death Sentence Flay the box. That's a lot of ways to go in with very little disengage options outside of Ultra Mega Fire Kick.
Very true.
And I mean, Jonjo on Kennen, Poppy player playing Kennen.
I don't know. We'll see if he can adapt. I mean, he's a Rumble player, so
in my defense, I was just following productions guidelines.
I fully intend on flaming him if he actually does something wrong. But for now, there's nothing wrong with picking Kennen. Although I do think that perhaps a more AD tanky option could have rounded out the composition slightly better. And Well, we are seconds away from finding ourselves
That's
onto the Rift for game number 1.
a very good point, actually. Where the hell is your front line coming from outside of a Mumu?
A Mumu. It's a Mumu.
Yeah, like this Mumu, he's going in. There's no P outside of Melio. It's.
He doesn't need to.
I don't want to call it doomed. I don't want to call it doomed, but it's very, very hard. It's a very, in terms of ease of execution.
I mean, in terms of ease of execution, Amumu sits there and laughs as Kennen, Ari, Jinx poke, because Swain gets outranged. The only person from the side of full counter that is actually going to be able to do damage in a poke scenario is Oldboy on this Varus. So you've got two range solo laners and a long range marksman versus a Varus. It is entirely on full counter to get the engage, to not get heavily poked down, which means Elmar's job is purely to just chill, wait for the engage to come in, and, knock the CC immune off of OC, and then hit Curse of the Sad Mummy, and let Ramco play backwards from him.
I really, really think that full counter just have an easier to play composition. I think that Frostbite Gladiators are really going to struggle. Oops.
All right. Just going to line up with production, make sure we are ready to roll. And then we will get ourselves into game number 1. Frostbite Gladiators on the blue side, full counter on the red. Okay. Just a moment. Apologize for the delay, everybody. Production having a slight issue getting into the game, but hopefully it will be resolved momentarily. Let's talk some more. I believe that the kite back peel, or rather poke and play keep out style for Frostbite Gladiators is going to yield them the best results. What do full counter need to do to full counter that?
Man.
I can't tell if you're upset at the pun or the fact that I put you on the spot.
No, I'm upset at the pun.
You're welcome.
Full counter literally just bear with me. I need to formulate my thoughts a second.
Well, John Joe, of course, has a score to prove. They once again chose to ban out his Poppy, something that I am sure he will not take lightly. We'll see if the doctor, Kennen MD, will be able to take down the... Mundo isn't an actual doctor, is he? He thinks he is, but I'm pretty sure he's not.
Yeah, Dr. Mundo isn't a doctor.
Pretty sure Kennen isn't either. Like, that is some flagrant disregard for safety right there when you're throwing 4 pointed scalpels at people.
It's literally just 4 scalpels tied together.
Yeah, exactly. Flagrant disregard for, like, health and safety.
2 seconds. Right.
Of course, in the early game, we talk about the junglers, Elmar versus Lyre. I certainly don't expect Elmar to try and do any invade shenanigans. Obviously, Amumu traditionally is known for having a slightly slower clear, a slightly more vulnerable clear. So perhaps there is an angle. If Zephyr can get out of mid lane super early, of course, Ari can't shove waves that effectively at the level 1. Could potentially look for a cheeky little roam to put that Amumu behind early.
Yeah, I mean, get this Amumu behind and suddenly full counter's job gets so much harder. So much harder.
I mean, yeah, it's the only front line. So you can't even necessarily play at low eco because you need to have enough gold in pocket to be beefy enough to be that front line that... Unless you are specifically consigning yourself to death in every single team fight, If you want to survive, then you need to be hitting 2-3 items. And even then, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough, because we've got a Wukong who almost always builds Divine Sunderer. We've got a Mundo who is no slouch at doing damage to 2 fellow tanks. And we got a Varus who in the current meta goes on hit.
Just
On hit
right
is...
through.
Yeah. Like, how do you itemize when he's doing 50% physical damage, 50% magic damage, and he's getting a bunch of armor and magic penetration from the mythic passive of Rageblade? Oh. Alrighty, production has caught up, although we have unfortunately missed the first 2 minutes of gameplay. I apologize for that, but we are doing what we can. We will get ourselves into game production. On your go. And we are live onto the Rift for Frostbite Gladiators versus Full Counter. Reminder, Frostbite is on the blue side for this game number 1. We've already seen a kill come through. The first blood was picked up by Fate. By the looks of it, that has to be a level 1 invade, because there are assists on every other member of the team. I don't imagine any bigger spice to happen than that.
No, I doubt it. I think we're going to see a very standard early game this game. It'll make things much, much easier as we get a bit of a wider picture of the map.
Yes, indeed. Looking the early clear, both starting... Oh, no, sorry. That is reverse clear. However, as we said, Lyre is going to have the faster start here. In fact, Elmar seems to have been very, very slow on his first clear. Fate stepping forward, feeling good about himself right now.
It's the old boy and Fate starting to get the push in this bot lane. Meanwhile, Plat Police starting to shove Zephyr in. Same can be said for John Joe up in the top lane. So 2 out of your 3 lanes with Prio. Not going to complain if you are full counter. Wait,
Shenzhen will eat.
Full counter?
Full counter is red.
Right.
Yes.
That's my fault. I was looking at the draft thing on the stream to remember what the champions were. I think it was the other way around.
Yes. So, full counter, red side, and we do see Lyre has managed to sneak his way in towards the mid lane. Plat Police finds himself in the waiting arms of Fate. A charm and a missed death sentence will get him out to an extent, but the damage comes through and the ignite will drop as well. Plat Police stepping far enough forwards to get caught up and taken down as Zephyr picks up the second.
And hang on a minute, I've just realised. Shenzhen died bot lane as well.
Oh, wow.
0-1. We missed something in the first 2 minutes, it would seem.
Yes, yeah. First blood was already picked up. Fate picked it up in what I assume to be an invade. I guess Shenzhen was the price that had to be paid for that play.
And
Or,
now,
you know, the victim.
oh yeah, and now, also making things happen in the mid lane. Fate doing major work for full counter here.
Yep, getting himself the first blood, getting the early roams, while Shenzhen finds himself stuck. Obviously, Milio, not a champion that can really do much on the roam, unless you're going to do some crazy ultra mega fire kick play. It's not likely to be happening, so Fate taking huge advantage of the fact that he can get out of lane early. Of course, Old Boy is just chilling. He's doing perfectly fine on CS. Has a call, is just there, is happy to be here while he scales up.
Yeah, I mean, we don't, this game doesn't have to go any quicker than it is. Full counter already 2-0 up. Varus stacking the cull. Swain with a first blood in pocket, picking up most of that catalyst of Aeons. And a pretty hefty jungle lead, and a dragon looking to go into the back pocket because Elmar is still top lane.
Black Police steps into the river with absolutely no support, and Zephyr will be gifted a second kill. Shenzhen and Ramco are trying to step in, but there is not a damn thing you can do about that one. Elmar is trying to sneak in, actually, is quite healthy, but it would require a bandage toss into a smite steal. They will opt not to go for it, discretion being the better part of valor this time around.
I don't think that was
That does
discretion.
mean
A beautiful death sentence landed from Fate to stop them casting.
that too. But all the same being, 3 early kills, 4 full counter, a Drake in pocket. They are sitting pretty, and they're really not going to care about the fact that OC is 6 CS down on the top lane.
No, not at all. This is picture perfect early game for full counter. And of course, you've only got scaling on this Varus, so they don't have to get leads.
Oh, hello. Demonic Ascension has been burned in the mid lane. Zypher is just drain tanking them. There has been the Spirit Rush used. He's trying to do the damage. Elmar will be able to get away, but Zypher basically untouchable with these 2 kills in the early game.
Swain, everybody. Opting to go for Lost Chapter, likely going to see Leandries instead of a Rod of Ages. Which also makes a lot of sense into this game. I mean, you're never really going to look to stay in fights extended, especially against Ahri and Cannon and Jinx. So you're looking to just, you know, get a little bit of chip damage down, maybe do some damage to Elmar, take him out of the fight, and force a 4v5 when there's no tank.
Absolutely. So, minute until the first Herald graces the Rift with her presence. Are we expecting a play to happen? Obviously, Elmar is only a little bit behind, but we do, cannot discount 3 assists, 100% kill participation for Lyre so far in this game as he makes his way in towards bot side.
I think Ahri is too far behind to be able to contest push for Herald. I think you would be looking at 2v2, and I think Zephyr is significantly stronger than Sir Jonjo at this point in the game. And I'd also like to take stock of vision and the fact that there is almost none.
Ooh, Fate's going forward. Chain of Corruption lands. There is no cleanse on Ramco. There is the healing. There is the warm hugs. Elmar will land the stun. They are able to extricate themselves. Although Elmar may be in a little bit of trouble. No, they do manage to get themselves out of that one. Just the ghost burned from Jinx. That's, you know what? Fair play. That is a really clean get out.
The differentiating target focus from the bot lane of full counter there, costing them a kill. Of course, Fate initially flashing onto Shenzin, whereas Old Boy dropping that Chain of Corruption on top of Ramco's face meant that without that flay, you're really going to struggle to kill either of these laners because you can't force them back into. I think if that flay had been there, it was the hook, line, sinker, murder is all she wrote for Ramco there.
Well, right now we see Fate once again getting out onto the map, trying to make plays happen, already behind the tier 2, and Plat Police is taking never move after never move after never move in this lane, has burnt a Spirit Rush as well to try and make the play happen. There is Demonic Ascension. There is no Ignite to actually ensure the death of this Swain. Gonna flash in on Plat Police, and the hand will say, talk to the hand. Jonjo indeed does miss with the Slicing Maelstrom. Enlar is just going to be able to walk this one forward. Jonjo, Lightning Rush will be able to get away. The flash from Zephyr, so fantastic to completely nope the Kennen ultimate, grab himself 2 more kills, and he is looking... This is a Palpatine treatment.
Zephyr is a monster, a beautiful flash. Okay, we won't talk about that Chain of Corruption.
That was a Chain of Corruption. Fate is in a bad spot, but here comes Lyre. Ramco needs to try and keep himself safe. Knockup number 1 comes through. Is just going to try and get a kill. Does manage to get 1 kill onto Fate. Lyre, of course, will take him down in trade. Shenzin should be able to get out with the movement speed from the warm hugs. And that was looking really rough until, again, Lyre showed himself on the scene. You could call it a bait play. I don't necessarily believe that Fate had to die there. Shenzin, however, gotta be very careful, my friend. Lyre is not to be taken lightly in this game.
Absolutely not, and that's 2 back-to-back plays that honestly just go full favor of full counter.
I have some concerns, frankly. But we have 4 kills onto Zephyr. The Herald does get picked up for the side of the Frostbite Gladiators. And a play, they tried to make it happen towards the bot side. Lyre comes in, but he finds himself dead, and they've gifted 2 kills across to the Jinx. She completed the early Storm Razor, and that power spike is enough to get herself right back into this game.
She is the last bastion of hope for Frostbite Gladiators.
Well, we were talking about her from minute 1. As soon as she got locked in this draft, as soon as the draft was completed, we were like, okay, if Jinx can't do anything, then it's a go next angle. Frostbite Gladiators already had all of their eggs in the Jinx basket, and Ramco is carrying that basket with aplomb. So far.
The question is, how much work can it do now? I think it is worth mentioning, because it was an interesting discussion that we'd had beforehand. I believe our producer for today, Purple Samurai, said that Frostbite is his team. So this series is going to be painful for him if it doesn't go their way.
We have got themselves some items through. We already talked about that power spike that came through from the Storm Razor, but as suspected, yeah, I mean, the mid lane meta has changed so much because of the flip around of costs. Catalyst going to 1300 and Lost Chapter to 1100 has brought your like more typical mages right back to the forefront.
Yep, 1100 back for Lost Chapter compared to the old 1300. That's essentially like a whole wave. You can say, okay, I'm just gonna come back for you in a minute. It's very handy for mid laners. It's a jungler's worst nightmare.
Take a walk with me here. Picture you are a mid laner. You have gone futures market, and you are going for a 1,100 gold Lost Chapter as opposed to a 1,300. You can clear 3 waves. If you clear every minion in the first 3 waves, you can back for Lost Chapter.
Yeah. Wasn't that the case
It's
before
kind
anyway,
of
though?
disgusting. No. This is a whole like 2 waves sooner.
I always thought the cheater recall for Lost Chapter was farm first 3 rows perfectly, shove on 3rd and back.
Perhaps I'm wrong, but we do see Elmar getting in towards the bot side. The flash from Old Boy is used, but he has no cleanse. Ramco is going to run on forwards. Elmar does pick that one up, but it's all about the Jinx, and she will lay waste to both of the full counter. Bot lane putting herself 4-1 right now. Elmar knows where his loyalties need to lie. The Herald is coming down in the bot lane, and that tower is done for.
Dunzo, dead. Good night, Vienna, the bot lane tower. Splits 3 ways.
Shelly ain't stopping, though. Get a lot of damage
Second
onto this
charge.
tier 2 as well. And of course, straight away after this, Ramco should be going into the mid lane. You can put Plat Police bot side to just farm up on this Ahri rather. And realistically, you've got a Spirit Rush, you've got a Flash. How are you killing this Ahri without sending multiple people down to her?
You have got a saving grace if you are full counter though. Your Mundo 001, your Kong 114, your Swain 4-0-1. You don't mind sacking this bot lane just a little bit to get them everything they could ever possibly need.
Oh, Shenzhen, that's not where you want to be, my friend. And no amount of breathing light is going to save you from that one. Elmar is trying to make it happen, but he finds himself outnumbered and alone. Plat Police cannot help. A Super Mega Death Rocket is going to go whistling by as another hook comes out from Fate onto Plat Police. Cypher going forwards, trying to get onto Ramco, onto this big Jinx. Try and get on forwards. John Joe TP's in. OC TP's in as well. The Chain of Corruption will go whipping past the cannon. That does mean 5 members in the mid lane. They can knock down this tier 1.
Maybe finally get themselves something after their bot lane has been beaten, battered, broken, and abused back.
Oh, John Joe! He's feeling himself and he deletes Old Boy. That was personal. They're looking to keep on going forwards, but the tower is saved and the rest of full counter flee from the scene.
That's a big save into that mid lane. Fate landing hook after flay after flay. It's just not enough. Not when your team fight is so weak at this point in the game. Your Varus 1 and 3 at this point, only 1 item completed. Your Wukong already used the Cyclone on your Mundo, not quite tanky enough yet to provide the frontline. Swain, the only saving grace. Zephyr, the only one left standing amongst a field of dead soldiers.
Let's not overhype the situation. Obviously, the kill lead is still there for full counter. They have great vision as well.
I wouldn't call it overhyping the situation. I think that's just taking stock. That definitely feels like Zephyr.
Things are going Frostbite's way.
Okay.
Absolutely. Things have turned in Frostbite's direction. They've got the first tower. They got first Herald. But in the meantime, we did miss, I believe, seeing full counter take their second Drake. So Drake stacking, very much something that you want to deny, especially from this already very fed hyper carry of the Jinx.
Second Herald will be up now. Next Dragon, 40 seconds time.
Is Liar spotted bot side?
Been taken. No, doesn't look like it. There's no blue wards there from what I can tell. Just saw him by walking into the jungle, but there are no blue wards to catch him out, except for...
There is one. There is one near the tier 1 in mid.
Liar gets to trudge around this jungle as freely as he would please. I mean, only one ward down is a very dangerous situation for Frostbite Gladiators to find themselves in.
Yeah, it means that full counter can casually wander into the jungle, into the river right now. The Mountain Drake, first of up to 5 in this game, I suppose. And they can wander in. And look, now we see Frostbite Gladiators are rushing blindly into danger. Shenzin just survives courtesy of the warm hugs. They, however, are somehow making it happen. The delayance, the distraction is enough to find the angle in. Ramco is able to step away, and the OC is left alone. The AoE, the burst, is more than enough to delete their targets. It's a scratty fight. It is the furthest thing from clean, but somehow the Gladiators make it work.
Alone, cold, and afraid, the Mundo falls. And that kill lead we were talking about before?
Does he feel any of those things? I feel like Mundo does not feel cold or afraid at any point. Just look at that guy.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
I don't have a response to that because I've lost the point I was trying to make.
Ah, you're welcome.
Kill lead gone like that. Gold lead now
Dragon
swung
stacking.
3k.
And that's the dragon handed across as well. This makes no sense. There was complete vision dominance for full counter there. And yet, the Gladiators, they turn all to chaos. And it seems like they thrive in it because they find the angles, they find the key targets. Again, they sneak in. And Jonjo coming right in, hasn't used the Slicing Maelstrom yet, does not have a stopwatch, but is managing to skirt around the fight amazingly. Double kill already picked up for Ramco, and they are on the chase, trying to get Liar. The monkey will drop. It is a triple kill. The quadra will be denied, as Plat Police will pick up the OC. But it doesn't mean a thing, as the rest of the Gladiators can push into top lane and can knock down some more structures.
It is the OC Do Not Steal, and it was stolen away by Plat Police. Things are looking very bleak for a full counter.
It started so well.
It did. They let it.
Let's rewind. Let's rewind a bit here, Drew. What went wrong for full counter?
Jinx got 4 free kills for nothing.
Oh, we can isolate it even better, because there was the key moment of Liar, low health, sitting around bot lane, looking to make another play, and gifting 2 kills across to Ramco. That was the start of the snowball. They did not respect the fact that Jinx had completed the Stormraiser, and they paid dearly for it.
And they also managed to somehow, Lord knows how, I certainly don't, but they stopped Zephyr from snowballing even harder.
And this is exactly what I was saying in draft, Drew. Swain is a short-range mage. Sure, if he can find his key targets, if he can mark his man, then that's perfect. flashing forwards, trying to get onto Jonjo. Of course, Kennen is going to struggle a little bit to get away from a situation like this. The flash will be able to survive, to save him for a bit. Shenzhen has to burn his own flash. Chain of Corruption comes out. Unfortunately for Ramco, there is no follow-up. The Breath of Light had already been used. They are able to get out once again. And full counter. They're looking for picks. They're looking for anything, really. And it's all coming to naught right now. Plat, please. Looking for Old Boy. The charm will not land, however.
Looking very, very difficult. Full counter. Your comp significantly easier to execute, but you let the one win condition run away from you emphatically.
And what do they do now? Ramco is 10-1, 3 items completed, a Gale Force for even more safety. How do you get onto them?
There's no Kraken Slayer, there's no LDR. Thankfully. Mundo can still be useful, but is stacking MR like we expected. The only
Got a Warden's Mail.
saving
That's
grace,
something.
the only saving grace is Wukong Swain or Varus Thresh. Catch this Jinx unawares, dead and buried.
It's the only way you win any fight. You have to lock down Ramco. You have to remove him before anybody else. Sure, Jonjo can lock you up with Slicing Maelstrom. Sure, Plat Police is going to be annoying flitting around on the Ahri, but it's all about the Jinx. We set this up minute 1 as soon as we loaded onto the field. Jinx was going to be key. And it looked like they were shutting her down so well right until that display.
Greed will be your hubris. It's one of the 7 deadly sins for a reason, and it certainly was deadly for full counter earlier in this game. And we'll see if it continues to be. For now, we can't. Frostbite Gladiators cannot get complacent.
No, definitely not.
Complacency
One
is
misstep.
the world's biggest killer.
Absolutely. One good hook from Fate. One well-placed Warrior Trickster over a wall into a Cyclone onto the Jinx could give full counter a way back in. So entirely on the Gladiators to now play measured, to play respectfully, and to just, you know, go through the motions of ending this game cleanly. And they're doing exactly that right now. They just set up vision and pick up their second Drake.
Goes Jinx's little minigun there. Now, looking at the vision, it's gotten significantly better. This entire bot side warded up in favor of Frostbite Gladiators. But the question is it going to be enough? Can we get a gold check, please? Production. Look at that. Look at that difference in the bot lane.
Yeah, that's a number. That is 4.2k.
That is 2/3
That's
of the gold lead.
That's 1.5 full
currently have.
items.
That is 2/3 of the gold lead they currently have.
Yep. And the
Let
rest of
that
the map isn't looking great either. There's 1,000 gold difference in the jungle. Elmar, who we said is meant to be just there to tank, has got 1,000 gold up on the Wukong, who needs to be a credible damage threat.
And that about takes us to our total gold difference for the game. It's all on Jinx. It's all on a movement.
Yep. And again, I just talked about play it clean and close out the game. Baron is up. They have completely lit up the topside jungle. They will claim themselves the Baron. They will extend their gold lead to 7,000. And they will get back onto the map. There is only one piece of standing gold left. That bot lane in a turret. Clear that out. Siege up the inhibitor line. And don't give full counter their way back in.
And giving them a way back in is very difficult at this point, honestly. Jinx, very safe with that Gale Force, very safe with that Shirelia's. That Breath of Life, the Cozy Campfire, the Warm Hugs. Very hard to catch this Jinx unawares if this Melio is anywhere nearby. No cleanse to speak of, though. So if Melio isn't there, you can very easily kind of catch them off guard and blow them up.
Well,
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
it's the only way back in, and it's on the Gladiators to ensure that does not happen. The vision is, again, being set up very nicely. Shenzhen, gotta be a little bit careful there, buddy. You are a squishy, squishy Milio, and Breath of Life is certainly not as good when you use it on yourself.
You can't use it on yourself, in fact. You do not get DCC.
It's true, actually. Elmar finds his way in, though. Old Boy is too far up. Not going to run fast enough on those old legs. Get taken down. Ramco going legendary with a carry down. They're just going to keep on running it forwards. OC is at 2 items, but not even slightly tanky enough to deal with this Jinx. They can look to find a way forwards. Elmar looking to get the engage in. What Nexus turret falls? Lyra's trying to go in. Jinx is found. The target is there, but he's able to kite back. Excited and more than ecstatic to be here as he picks up yet another double kill. Elmar is still going forward. Zyther has to flash back onto his fountain and watch as this structure gets taken down. Elmar's going onto the fountain. I don't think you're surviving that one, buddy. It will be just a little bit of fun as the Frostbite Gladiators play to the crowd and they close out the game.
What a game one it was.
Well, hey, look. Do we want to talk about differences in gold and damage numbers?
I'd rather not.
Ramco, 23,000 damage to champions, 15.6k gold. Old Boy, 4,690 damage to champions, 9.8k gold.
Yep.
It was so good. At the start, it was so good. They had the advantage. Fate got first blood. They were constantly punishing Shenzhen being a bit cheeky, trying to step forwards in the lane. They were finding those advantages. And then they push that little bit too far.
This was a team that lost their first 3 bans. At the top for a reason, it would seem. As they go 1 up, they are leading the series and are 1 game away from taking another decisive win.
Absolutely are. We are going to throw it to a quick break, as production is saying in my ear. I would certainly like an opportunity to drink a bit of tea and get myself ready for game number 2. See what Full Counter can bring out to try and save their chances in this series. We'll be back in a few. Don't go anywhere. Righto, everybody, welcome back. Ahead of game number 2. Frostbite Gladiators taking that win cleanly if you ignore the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep the first 10 minutes in a box that's buried, and if you let it out, all the emotions are going to come flying into the world. And it was a very clean game.
Obviously, we missed the level 1 invade that ended up costing Shensen's life. We, however, did see a bot lane that looked very solid for the side of full counter. They were constant. Sorry?
The bot lane for full counter got a little bit gapped.
In the early stages. I'm saying it was looking good at first.
Yeah, I think the
They
good
were
thing
suppressing.
to take away is Fate was a monster.
Oh, yes. Hook
Fate's
after
a
hook after hook was
monster.
landing.
Every single time
Mhm.
that he went mid, it resulted in a kill. Things went a bit pear-shaped when it was just Old Boy and Liar looking to make a play onto Ramco, not respecting their health bars, not respecting the item pickups.
The problem actually was they didn't even go onto Ramco. They committed to killing Shenzhen first, which meant that the Jinx was able to free hit with the completed Storm Razor.
I must have missed part of that fight then, because I saw it as they engaged onto Jinx, who had just got back to lane because Shenzhen had to back because he got chunked out at the start of the fight.
Shenzhen was still there at the play.
Okay.
This is the glory of not having... I normally have a replay button, which means I can check my facts. Oh, I'm told that we don't have the budget for it. But normally I just have my own replay button that I can press, because I'm often producing as well. Which means I can, I can fact check, which is...
Can't do that this time.
No, it's,
So we're both
I'm
going to
feeling
live in
slightly
blissful
exposed.
ignorance.
Yeah, we're going to go with that. Obviously, it's been a while, but feeling good to be exercising those old caster muscles again.
It might be the only one I get to do all split, so I'm not going to complain.
No spoilers.
I'm not spoiling nothing. Just saying.
Well, I just need to get myself into the lobby for this game number 2, and we will get ourselves rolling. Thank you very much, production.
Lobby is full.
We'll give it a second. It's all good.
I won't repeat that.
No. We'll let production live in their own world.
Now we can't get into spec. We need to leave the lobby. Thank you, Faye.
We're figuring it out. We're getting ourselves ready. Game number 2. Full counter opt to stay on red side for game number 2.
That's
so.
rude.
I mean, if their comms after game 1 were okay, that started out well, but we griefed it. Like, the idea of running it back and not griefing it seems perfectly playable.
You know what I think they need to do though? Ban the Jinx, give over the Ezreal. Just a thought.
Yeah, I'm not against that at all. Of course, Ramco does have other picks, like yourself, is an appreciator of the Sire.
Not quite an Aphelios player yet, as far as I can tell.
Too many button presses.
That's too many button presses. Sure, we'll run with that.
I tried to get my head around Aphelios. Did not happen. Could not happen.
Would not happen.
Yes.
Old Boy also one of a Xayah in himself as well. So we got a good chance of seeing Xayah.
Certainly do. We'll see what the teams are feeling like once we get obviously into draft for game 2. Still, of course, the Frostbite Gladiators are lacking their first bans. So it
Yep.
does mean that Full Counter can change it up a bit, maybe take away that jinx that ended up getting so monstrous in game number 1. And
Forcing a bit of a change in game plan.
yeah,
We are feeling very groovy in chat, and we chilling on cast. It's good to be back.
speak for yourself. This is kind of stressful.
Coming from the person who produces and casts more often than not, you cannot call this stressful.
No. It's because I haven't done it in a while. It's like, oh, what am I actually meant to be doing at this point?
Let it go. Have some fun.
All right. Well, obviously, another win for Frostbite Gladiators would see them taking the series 2-0, locking themselves in the top spot, depending, of course, on how Grace Like Violet do in their game. No, Deja Vu.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Grace Like Violet are the ones that Full Counter are currently contending with, and if Full Counter cannot take a game this series, they will lock themselves at the bottom. It's still tied with Grace Like Violet. This is the game in hand they've got above them.
Yes, Deja Vu. They have been in this place before, probably. If they can take a win in this next game, then we may see them match up with the Frostbite Gladiators at the top spot. If not, obviously, they'll put themselves in joint second alongside Quantify. So,
The
obviously,
duality
the result of this
reaction
game,
to that.
I make no apologies. I feel a
You've
lot
got-
better already.
You've got me, who you heard audibly sigh. Production, on the other hand, went mental. I think I think I'm too used to your BS at this point, Marrakesh.
I know, I may need to, like...
Get some new material.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Uh-huh. Step it up a notch. Pull something out that will surprise
You
me.
know, it's that meme of the crow that's doing a comedy routine. And it's like, makes one joke, get better material, and looks at all of its cards and it's just the same joke.
Yep, and we're
That's
on
me.
draft.
Yeah, I know you're entirely in tune with my BS. We are into, as you say, for game 2. And we got a nice little, we got some chill vibes moments as we wait for the first ban to come through. I was gonna try and do some... Yes! Yeah.
Full Counter don't have 3 bans. No, Frostbite
What?
don't. Yeah, I'm an idiot.
Frostbite.
Yeah, my brain isn't working properly. But while we wait for the bans, how's the weather?
We're overclocking, it's too hot.
How's the family? How's the family doing? Good, good. You know,
Well, Full Counter are taking their time thinking of the first ban. It will once again be the victor taken away from Plat Police. I have no strong feelings about that, considering how prolific he is on that pick.
yeah,
I think that is a solid option.
I would definitely be inclined to agree.
Expect to see a Poppy ban, and then probably the Jinx, unless they feel like, okay, we just need to shut her down better this time around.
That, or they do Jinx Ezreal and give Poppy over. Didn't really have that many dashes in their repertoire last game, other than Wukong.
It's true.
Left your brave pants at
Nope.
home. Want me to wait while
I'ma
you go
shut
get
up.
them?
Yes.
So, yeah, replying yes to that, Brax. They can't hear production. Team names should be swapped on the overlay. Frostbite Gladiators are on blue side, whereas...
You
Full
see what I
Counter
mean?
are
I've been out of it
red.
so long.
What is going on with the bans, though? I'm seeing Victor banned by blue side and a no ban by Frostbite Gladiators. That's mildly confusing.
You can't cage me for long.
Don't worry about it. Everything is fine here.
Silas was the last ban,
We did see it banned in game 1.
but that was in second rotation.
Well, they're pushing it
Slightly
forwards a little
to an
bit this
early
time
Malphite
around.
Horn pick.
Potentially. Obviously, Malphite was banned. Or
Wow.
the Gladiators can just go,
Good
well,
man.
we won the first game. Do we actually need to change anything?
I don't want to see it again. Oh,
Well, tough.
damn it. All I feel is sadness and pain. Yep, there it is.
Malphite and a Mumu.
They're saying it's fine. We can just go more frontline and Jinx can't play the game. Also easier to access the Jinx with Malphite and Mumu.
Yeah. Unstoppable Force is, yeah, it's a pretty alright ability. You know, it's fine. Although, it is not the most... unless you use it from Fog of War, you are heavily telegraphed in that you are going to go and press the button. So there is certainly a
what's Melia
degree
gonna
of
do
being
against
able
it?
to play around it. Oh, absolutely nothing. But if they do see Ramcon the Jinx again, then there is the ability to flash, Gale Force, to get out of the way of that ability and then play the fight from there. Because, you know, a vast majority of that Malphite setup does just come from that ultimate. Or you could do that, or you could just nope it. I need to be happy about that.
I'm very happy. Burp.
The potential worry is though sure you could potentially Featherstorm the Unstoppable Force, but if you come back down right into a bandage toss into Curse of the Sad Mummy, fair, true, and balanced, and Fate, undeterred, is going to lock the Thresh in for himself once again. That will round out our first phase of bans. Obviously, Jinx doesn't need to be banned this time around. We've already seen Desire. Are there any Shen taken away from Jonjo? Sure thing. Are you expecting anything else to be banned away? Any thoughts on what the Gladiators may want to like to remove as well?
Yinx, Varus,
That's the worst that could happen.
Zeri, Thresh, it's not great. Aphelios, Lucian, you know, standard like meta 80 carries at the moment. There goes the Swain. Versus and John
Considering the composition, that full counter have this time around, yeah, I wouldn't want to see the Swain either. Unstoppable Force, Curse the Sand Mummy, lots of tools of keeping the enemy exactly where Swain wants them to be.
Now let's see, what are we gonna blind for counter? They're just gonna take the Ezreal away, it would seem.
That's fine. Nice safe pick. Elmar can't get onto it too easily.
My worry is you are hard lacking damage.
It is true, but we did see, of course, that Zypher did put on a fantastic performance in game number 1, put him on a more heavily carry-oriented champion, and we could see him do wonderful things.
It's gonna be a game. It's gonna be a game.
Oh, who cares about 13-12, Drew? We're seeing the John Joe Rumble in game number 2.
Well, it would seem that patches mean nothing to our players today.
Hey, if you like a champion, just play it. We're playing at, what, plat level? At the end of the day, like, it's still good.
Actually, to be fair, I would rather see it now than next patch. I feel like next patch is going to be ruined. And we're seeing the standard Wukong plays ball delivery. Suddenly it's Shockwave into Cyclone. How the bloody hell does the enemy team play the game?
Shockwave into Cyclone into Equalizer.
Into another Cyclone.
Yeah,
with a Featherstorm Blade Caller on top of that.
That is a wombo.
Don't do it.
If I had ever seen one.
Don't do
Zypher
it.
could look to play for the late game. Aurelion Sol currently
So
the pick,
doomed.
and the Star Dragon
so
is locked in.
doomed.
Explain. Tell me why.
Well, how in the world are you going to get to scale when there's Wukong, Rumble, Xayah on the enemy team? You have to be at the first big team fight, and if you don't manage to play that team fight well, or you don't get a massive lead, it's so doomed. You're lacking damage throughout the entirety of the middle portion of the game.
It's true. Once Aurelion Sol hits level 9, his damage obviously becomes a little bit better once you fully max out the... I was going to call it the Breath of Light. Is it? Have they changed his Breath? Is Breath of Light now his Q? I really... You know what? This is telling me that I really need to swat up on my my ability names. Like, a lot of the newer ones have just gone out the window for me.
It used to be Voice of Light. I think it is now Breath of Light, but I will double check that for you. It is now Breath of Light. So you've got Cosmic Creator, Breath of Light, Astral Flight, Singularity, and Falling Star, or the Skies Descend.
Okay. And that's, I realized actually, in game 1, I messed up Milio's ultimate. I call it the Breath of Light, not Breath of Life. Which means this game, I'm willing to bet, in air quotes, that I will get those mixed up again.
Probably. I think I will as well, to be fair. But yeah, this game is even harder for Full Counter to play if they cannot stall the game out. You do have tanks to do that. But you cannot let any of these members of Frostbite Gladiators get a lead. If they get a lead, it's just really doomed.
Well, Zyphir, again, had a lot of the early resources given to him by Full Counter in game number 1. I have some confidence in him that he could play these fights out correctly. He's got a very solid front line that he can play around. But of course, as you say,
Aurelion Sol is you're relatively low range in the grand scheme of things.
true.
Like Oriana can match your range with ball almost pixel for pixel.
This could be the secret tech coming out from Flat Police. Obviously, Oriana has not seen basically any play in the highest level for quite a while. I think it's sometimes niche picked up.
It's
but
picked
it's
up
not
as
been meta
comfort
for
into
ages.
Control Mage. The problem is, look at the amount of ways the enemy team has to cancel Astral Flight. Shockwave, Blade Caller, Ultra Mega Fire Kick, Cyclone. If you don't get a reset on that Astral Flight and it gets cancelled, you are as good as dead. The only saving grace, you maybe cause the skies to darken to call upon the skies descending.
For a team composition, an opposing team composition that is, that wants to go for the wombo though, that does mean to an extent that they are going to want to be quite grouped up to maximize their wombo potential, which means that Skies Descend certainly could be this big sticking point. If you land a stun onto 2 or 3 people, the turnaround is massive from this Full Counter composition. Malphite goes, hey, there are stunned people there? I'm on it. Get in there with the Unstoppable Force.
Maybe,
A Mumu can follow it up.
maybe it's just me not
If they
having good
don't
experience today, so
execute,
every time we've seen this champion at the highest level of play and at amateur level, it's been less than impactful.
well, except when it like first came out and was turbo broken.
Even then, I don't think it won the game. It just looks good.
Oh no, it did. It did a couple of times. We are once again going to pause up at 5 seconds game time. Hopefully we can line up with production and get ourselves into this game number 2. So,
let me do a
expectations for the early game.
rune check. So that'll give us an idea. We have 3 comets. We have 2 conquerors, a tempo, an airy, a first strike, a PCA, and a glacial augment.
How do we feel about the first strike, by the way?
Into this lane, how the hell are you ever proccing that outside of Singularity?
Here's a fair statement. Production is telling me we are ready to go. So, on your go, production, we will get it again. And we are rolling for game number 2 here. Full Counter went back towards the red side, have gone for a composition that does rely on Zyphir heavily to get to a point where he can carry these later game team fights on this Aurelion Sol, unless Old Boy is able to scale up. Is there some kind of crazy degenerate Ezreal build on this patch that I haven't seen?
Trinity
Perhaps. And again, we're seeing the 5-man invade. Remco will spot this one out. I think this is going to be a flash burn immediately. Flash from Fate comes through. And Ramco, Nerves of Steel, burns absolutely nothing. Forces the flash out from the Thresh. And that is a cooldown lost for Fate. Does, of course, have Hex Flash. But that is 5 minutes before the full flash is available. And they're still going for the invade, but look at that. There's a ward waiting for them. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Elmar and Jonjo already sat on this red buff, ready to take it away, possibly enforce a split map situation, or better yet, enforce a situation in which Elmar is able to take 3 quadrants. OC? Elmar and Jonjo, they take their time, they wait for their moment. Laya finds himself in a whole world of hurt, and that is going to be a back forced on the Amumu super early in the game.
Almost looked as if they weren't going to take the back there.
There's no way you can't, right?
There's a world, they're not doing it. They're dead for it. Oh, not quite.
Elmar has
So
Elmar burnt flash there. So flash burnt from the Wukong. Laya did manage to hold on to his own. Eventually, finally, they will be able, I think, to claim the red buff. It won't be until 2 minutes 30 that the first camp is actually cleared on the Rift. This is the kind of aggression I like to see in my game, Jika.
It is pure, unadulterated aggression. As it
Macro
looks
be
like the
damned.
chickens may be forced as well. All according to Keikaku, if your name is the Frostbite Gladiators. Team names are not sticking with me today, I do apologize.
Yeah, Gladiators set themselves up decently in this early stage. It's 3 minutes, and Laya still... Okay, no, just before the 3-minute mark, Laya gets his first camp.
Your camp behind, friend. And to stop the invade, we're going to see basically a triple quadrant come through for Elmar.
This is so weird. There are 12 combined CS between the junglers at 3:15. The scuttlers are about to spawn on the Rift.
It's a game. It's certainly a game, and OC already entirely out of mana.
He's got a Corrupting Potion, so we'll be able to sustain a little bit longer. But of course, Jonjo's on the Rumble. He don't give a damn.
No mana champion. A lot of chip damage. I don't give a damn.
I'm not sure what that was just there.
Have you never
Shenzhen
seen...
actually going to find himself slightly rough situation. Dodges the first bandage toss, the damage to come through. Laya is trying to find the angle forwards, but will find the stun onto Elmar rather than the target they actually want. Ramco still trying to go forwards. Elmar looking for that first blood, should be able to claim it. Fate landing the damage onto Shenzhen. It will be the kill for Old Boy. However, it will be at the price of both his jungler and his support.
Yikes.
There are some questions to be... Wow, that is actually 0 damage.
Uh-huh.
Elmar just being a bit cheeky here. Even the chunk, even the completion chunk is doing next to no damage.
Curious, what's the Stardust looking like at this point?
28.
Not a small
I don't
amount of
know
Stardust.
It's all right. It is a satisfactory number.
It is certainly a number.
Gets himself an early back off. Will TP back into this lane. Fate does have his flashback up, but doesn't look like he's actually going to be able to get out of this one. Ramco is taking some damage, but the cozy campfire is making it so easy for Ramco to just free hit. One more auto will do the trick, take that one down. Old Boy should be able to get out with the Arcane Shift, but that's another kill across to Ramco once again. We saw what he did with kills on Jinx in Game 1, and he's already rolling early in Game 2.
We're seeing a different side to Fate this game. Last game landing all the hooks, getting all the early game leads. This game barely able to keep himself afloat in the lane. And Ramco, I mean, getting a lead on a Jinx is one thing. Getting a lead on a Xayah is a completely different one. Xayah's area damage compared to Jinx's just melt of tanks is 1 for 1 almost. And you want area damage in a game like this.
Yonjo, that's incredibly cheeky. Roams down from top lane just to put the disrespect equalizer on Zypher's head, which is going to force him to be honest in this lane. He's already low on health. Plat Police has a shockwave ready and waiting. And means Aurelion can't hard push these waves in, can't look to get that advantage. OC, again dropping low, but still has the corrupting. I'm looking to see if there's a potential engage option. Obviously no ultimate available. Plat Police, however, is getting a little bit big for his boots perhaps. Lyre will land a stun. There comes the death sentence as well. The shockwave will do some good damage, but Lyre will eventually pick that one up. Elmar maybe looking for an angle in onto this one. The Warrior Trickster will not get him close enough to claim the life of the Star Dragon.
We'll find the way forward soon, but not quite
Jonjo,
all
what
day.
are you doing, buddy? He's trying to sneak on down. Zypher more than cogent of what was going on. Current advantage in the wave state and the lane states means that Elmar can get himself into that bot side jungle, and with Shenzin's help, will claim the first Drake.
And now we're seeing complete different sides to what we saw last game, where first Drake went over to full counter. So already off to, out the gate swinging our Frostbite Gladiators in this game.
We'll see if they can hold on to that lead. That is a fantastic hook from Fate, though. Ramco ends underneath the turret, manages to get a decent ways away, but out will come the true shot barrage. Old boy is on the chase. Ramco still low, but Shenzhen will be able to tank most of the damage. In comes Elmar with the Cyclone. There is no flash for Fate. Elmar tries to get in as well, but will only find the Warrior Trickster. Elmar does need to be a little bit careful here. There is a turret right there. Old boy is still doing a nice little bit of damage. Sheen already completed. They will be able to step on out, however.
Are you saying that the Warrior Trickster got a little bit Warrior tricked?
No. I'm saying the opposite of that. The Warrior Trickster tricked them.
I see, I see. Elmar now looking for something enemy.
I don't know how I feel about this. Elmar, feeling way too big for his boots, will get fully caught out. Plat Police takes a chunk of damage. I fear will pick that one up. And it's OC getting out of the top lane, making things happen.
It's what we expect from the Malphite. You're not in the great lane, you know, you're an armor tank into a magic damage champion, so what do? Bugger off elsewhere.
Build Mercs and roam.
Bugger off elsewhere. You find yourself something else, somewhere else on the map. That's a mild tongue twister that I wish we'll never say again.
You know what? I kind of, this is not a good play pattern, but I would have kind of loved to have seen, like, Swifties or even Mobies on the Malphite. It's like Mach 7 rock coming at you before he's even pressed Seismic Shard.
No.
Currently shoving in the top lane right now. Elmar is seemingly having his number here. There's no flash. There is no ultimate to get out. However, Elmar is very much struggling to find the engage angle. Cyclone is on cooldown. The speed boost from command distance is not going to do a damn thing either. Here comes Jonjo, going to try and get the damage down, but OC is cool as a cucumber. We'll get out of that one. Three come top, nothing happens.
I don't think that's a cucumber, friend. It's definitely a shard of a monolith.
Similarly.
As safe as a shard of the monolith would have worked much better.
Fate, meanwhile, is making things happen. Black Police will get away towards the top side. Another bandage toss will land. Jonjo is looking to make it happen. Elmar is here as well. Does look like Lyre might be in just a little bit little speck of trouble. 2 kills will be traded back in the top lane. And this is perhaps what we have seen as the greatest thing to take from the series so far, is every time full counter make a play, it always feels like there is almost an immediate response.
Goodbye.
Bye, John Joe. There's an almost immediate response from Frostbite Gladiators that earns them more back.
Yeah, and it's almost always making a play onto Plat Police in trade for 2 or 3 members. It's almost as if they're scared of Plat Police or something.
It's 0-3 right now. Like, later game, it's perfectly fine if this Orianna doesn't even do that much damage. You have 4 damage dealers on your team.
And
If
you have
one
a
of
lot
them
of
falls
utility.
behind, exactly. If Plat Police falls behind, she can, well, Orianna can play that utility lockup setup role. You've got a Rumble, a Wukong, and a Xayah, all of whom can play the damage dealer role perfectly fine.
And Emilio to back them up.
Exactly. No, that's
We are synced.
no desync. Thank you, production, for that check-in, however. We find ourselves 6 kills to 6. There is a 2k gold advantage, however, for the side of the Frostbite Gladiators. I'm looking for the next 40 seconds. We see the second Drake coming up. It will be a mountain. Again, we see full counter having the vision. Oh no. I tell a complete lie, actually. The vision control was Frostbite Gladiators. However, Fate is going to walk in, clear that out, set up some vision of his own.
Yeah, I mean, once
And,
again, it's a massive... I'm shocked it's a 2k difference. Oh, no, never mind. It's like a 40 CS. Ignore me.
Yeah. Looking pretty good. Elmar making the plays in the top side once again. Does pay with his life. OC is going to be able to get out of that one. Hook from Fate will not land, but should be able to keep John Joe at bay long enough for the OC to get away. He's waiting for the ultimate to come back up, and he goes back in. OC on a killing spree. And this rock is rolling.
All right, Elvis, calm down. Problem is...
That's Michael Jackson.
I know that's Michael Jackson, that was the point. Problem is, this Xayah has a Kraken Slayer already. With an LDR not long over the horizon.
I'm
These
sure
tanks
it's
are
fine.
not going to exist.
Certainly, yeah. It's looking a little bit rough, shall we say, thus far. Zypher, however, has completed first items. In fact, first items are coming out across the rift. We've already seen Sunfire picked up. We see the Demonic picked up for Lyre. We see, as I said, the Rylai's there for Ramco. Great setup angle there. The Featherstorm could not be used to save him from the play, but the healing coming out from Shenzhen will keep him nice and topped up. Another hook
And
will not.
this Azol is doing next to no damage, so even if you don't, don't pop Featherstorm there, you take less than half your health. It's kind of insane.
And yeah, not exactly what you're wanting for your 30 CS up, 1000 gold up mid laner. I mean, obviously, you've gone Rylai's first, so your damage is going to be lower.
Check in chat, Rakish, just quickly to see if these guys have indeed darkened as yet. These guys have darkened. Aurelion Sol does indeed have Disguise Descent. Yes, so, of course, we just saw Falling Star drop in the mid lane there, but the next time this ultimate is used, it will be Disguise Descent. That is a big amount of area damage and a knock-up rather than a stun. So Emilio, not going to be able to save Xayah from that one this time.
Question is, will it matter all that much? Elmar still going all the way forwards every time, full send. Will force the flash out from Lyre. Old boy, of course, is fine, does not care too much, and will just use the way out. Ramco going forwards finds himself the victim of another fantastic ultimate from OC. But it's Fate once again who sets it up, finds the angle, gets the hook down, Lyre follows up, and then the Featherstorm is gone, and it's all too easy for OC to find that 3-man ultimate. And they will find the kills, they will find the play, and they now have complete control of the map.
That swung the gold lead in their favor as well. Old Boy having a much better game, 3-0 and 2.
Who did the kill on the Zaya go to, by the way? It was onto OC, wasn't it? 4-0-3 on the Malphite right now. That being said, Old Boy, 3-0-2, completed the Triforce, already has nearly completed the tier. How's he doing gold-wise? 1.6k, he's about 1,000 gold from completing the Muramana as well. Once you reach that second item, where's the tankiness on this Gladiators roster? You don't need tank shred when your opposing team has no tanks.
Yeah.
Courageous Giga Guard.
I mean, though, to be fair, it's not like they wouldn't have it anyway. A-Soul, % max health damage. Ezreal's got this Triforce, he's going to be slinging Qs left, right, and center, so the second he picks up a Cyrilda's like he probably wants to anyway.
Fate
Another
again.
beautiful hook as the
He's done with all of this.
the flash out
Forces
of
the flash.
Shenzhen.
Yep.
The skies did descend there, though. So that's on cooldown now, and they got nothing out of it.
A long while for them to potentially build that
Another-
Stardust back up.
What, another 75 Stardust, or did they increase it? I believe if you hover
Not
over
sure.
the skies descend, it might tell you.
Which button is that?
It is 75. Okie dokie. Good, good, good.
Got quite a while. I think
Yes.
that's probably going to be definitely
It's
not
gonna be
this
another
next
2
ultimate.
passes at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could hold it for the skies descend, but that's taking a lot away from your champion.
Yeah. It's not like casting Falling Star is
Bad.
outwardly a wrong play. It's just, yeah, every so often you get a slightly better one.
Exactly.
20 seconds until the next Drake spawns onto the map. It would be Soul Point for the side of the Gladiators. Elmar and Plat Police already looking for the angle. They find Zypher, and that is a wombo combo. Both of them obliterated, turned to ash, as the Gladiators will turn back and claim their third Drake.
And it's not even Ashen Lord Aurelian Soul, so he can't claim that was intended. Very, very dangerous situation to be in as Zephyr and Fade there. The second you take any CC and that Astral Flight has already started to channel, you're stuck. You ain't getting out anytime soon without your fucking flash. Excuse my French, that came out of nowhere.
You get one. You get
get
one,
one.
and then we kick you off the broadcast forever.
Yep.
And with those 2 kills still in pocket, Zypher's only just come back up. Yes, he does have a teleport, but not really going to want to burn it to contest a Herald. It will... you know what? I tell a lie. They are looking to try and find the angle in. OC has a fantastic flank here. Could look for the angle. Ramco does use a knife. Perfect Feather Storm, though. He's still getting chunked out, though. Lyre takes him down. Killing spree for this Amumu. The shielding coming through from Fate will make it happen. And that is 3 members dying from the side of the Gladiators. They do get the Herald, but they are made to pay for it.
Back and forth and back and forth. It is Soul Point for them, though.
Yes. 4 minutes
Ocean Soul, no less.
is a reckoning.
Ocean Soul, no less. It's a lot of healing.
Well, we are seeing that the engage options are many and numerous, and Ramco only has 1 Featherstorm.
I'm going Barmy. I saw in chat that John Joe had picked up a Blighting Jewel. I looked, and there is no Blighting Jewel.
Don't always trust what chat says. Or maybe he changed his mind.
I meant League chat, not Twitch chat.
I thought you were talking about chat.
No, League chat said it. I can't trust any chat.
I mean, I still think it's good
Yeah,
life advice.
never
Don't
the
always
end.
trust what Twitch
It's never
chat
the end.
says. No offense,
Never the
guys,
end.
but...
It's never the end.
Okay, we are crossing the 20-minute mark. Let's take stock of the situation. There is a 2.3k gold lead for the side of Full Counter. OC is a very beefy boy. 405. Big shutdown on him. Lyre is doing great as well. A lot of damage is coming out from that early pickup of the Demonic Embrace. And we now have Zypher picking up the Mythic as well. It's not going to be the most damage we've ever seen. It is an Everfrost pickup. But it does mean that you have yet another lockup option that Ramco has to worry about.
Yeah, I mean the layering of CC has not been amazing this game, so I'm not uber scared.
The thing is,
Oh,
the
right.
layering of CC being less good is potentially an advantage when you have Emilio, because if you layer your CC
Exactly, that's my
perfectly,
point.
the Breath of Life can disrupt that so effectively. If it's landing more sporadically,
No, it's landing at
by
once.
place.
That's 2 very quick kills, but no, it's more all landing at once, which is a bigger problem.
Ronjo should be able to chase this one down. Huge shutdown, and there is a blighting jewel picked up now.
Yay! Chat wasn't lying to me.
Interesting.
John Joe is TPing.
Well, how about
like,
that?
outside.
Yeah, that is the skies descending, and Jonjo trying to go forwards on towards Old Boy. They're not able to find him. However, the trades back and forth are coming. Zypher, you're going to need to get out, my man. That is the Cyclone used. If you can get to an Astral Flight before anything else, then maybe something can happen, but the flash forward from Ramco will put paid to that. Just Old Boy alive. The Baron is up. It's going to take a miracle to try and trade this one out. You've even summoned the Rift Herald towards the top side of the map. I like the aggression. It means that obviously any potential options get limited even further. And yeah, outside of a miracle from Old Boy, there is no way this Baron is going in the favor of full counter. Which means, minute till Dragon, as you say, it means the gold lead has flipped right back into the hands of the Frostbite Gladiators. And all it took was one fight
Forgive me,
to make...
but they seem to be whipping the goals back and forth.
I'm the one who makes the crappy jokes here. Like, stay in your lane.
I've suffered them for too long.
No, stay in your lane. You're the smart one, I'm the dumb one. That's how it is.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
I wouldn't say I've been uber smart today, but we move.
You and me both. All being said, however, we see full counter
They're
is
just giving this up.
there at the Drake. Well, you
They're
say
saying
that,
we
but
can take the
Elmar
first
is
Drake.
waiting over the wall, looking for a potential steal angle. Shenzhen again, keeping them honest, and 3 members have to go and stop the push in the mid lane and towards the top side as well. Elmar can look to get in.
Oh my
There is
God.
the steal. There is the soul picked up for the Frostbite Gladiators. Shenzhen, I have no idea why you decided to join in on this play. Elmar should go down as well. I don't think kills will be claimed here, but the soul is given across. We have the ocean on the side of Frostbite Gladiators. Granted, on a team that is less tanky, there is the potential for it being less good because you can still get bursted out. But it's still a soul. And
Into
It is an
Ace Ezreal,
unanswered
you're
soul
looking more
at
to
that.
poke people down though.
that's true. Although we haven't seen much of that happen. We usually see them run into each other and then just
Hey, I never said the play was correct.
go ham. Again, though, unintentionally, that may be working in full counter's favor.
I repeat what I said, the end is never the end. You would think that Soul for this team, with a Xayah that's this strong, would spell the end. And we'll see. The first fight since Soul was picked up is yet to show itself.
There is a 703 Ezreal on the other side, though.
And yet somehow,
There's still a 2,500 gold difference. 2,500 gold. Yeah,
yeah,
Red team's turret
2.2k
has
gold
been
difference
destroyed.
somehow.
Ramco shoving in this bot side. The Baron buff, I believe, has just dropped off. In fact, at the moment I say that, the Baron buff is dropping. Oh no, I was clicked on somebody. Now it's dropping off.
There you go.
There we go. I
Right
just
before our
happened
very
to
eyes.
decide to look at somebody that didn't have it.
They are
Ultimates get
still
dropped
in the
down.
lead in this game though. Full counter still on the back foot. Their base being the door of their base being knocked on. They've taken
Baron
2
has
towers
now
this entire
ended.
game.
That is true, but as I said, Baron is now ended. The siege coming out on the side of the Frostbite Gladiators is going to be more difficult to execute. And of course, the closer to your base you are, the easier it is for you to trade poke and then just take a swift back, get your health back, get your mana back, and constantly be able to cycle to the point that the Gladiators can't safely push, else they risk getting all in.
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing separated skirmishes for most of the game, and that's fine for the Gladiators, because as long as this Malphite ult isn't hitting more than one person, you are happy, you are safe, you are perfectly fine. We've seen what happens when this Malphite ult hits more than one person. Doesn't look good for the Frostbite Gladiators.
Definitely not, especially since Lyra and Zypher are almost always following up immediately on that. OC, I don't think... Okay, you are just catching the wave. I was worried for a second he was going to try an all-in Plat Police, and of course, Elmar was waiting in the wings in case of such circumstance.
Yeah, okay, so this ASOL build, it's not going to do damage. Your main carry is right in this game. Going for a much more support-oriented build.
That seems to be okay, although Zypher is trying to take the full... what was that about doing no damage? It's slow damage, perhaps, but that was still a clean solo kill onto Sir Jonjo.
Be fair to Jonjo, he doesn't exactly have much health.
That is true.
Not much health, and sure, none of them have much health, but you've also got targets to body block for you in team fight, so you're never really going to easily take the full duration of the Breath of Light.
This is a new evolution that we have seen coming out from mages, though. With the change, the 1310 change to Imperial Mandate, it's no longer a mythic. It's no longer as fully support role oriented.
I don't
So
remember.
we have seen more utility-based mages going for that pickup.
There you go. Yeah, that's
Oh,
what happens
goodbye.
when you get caught out of position as this ASOL. You have zero survivability. You have a little bit more health than you normally would, but you're still just dead on the spot, and this mandate doesn't help you with that. It doesn't mean you can't blow someone up quicker than you die either. So, it's very hard if you're out of position. You have to be playing this pixel perfect. And I don't know if you remember old ASOL, but he used to run mandate because all the other mythics were so bad for him. So ASOL was actually the forefront driver for the mandate on mid laners. And now that it's not mythic, we see it on so many more.
Elmar still going ham all every day, shuffling forwards, looking to get that damage down. And of course, I also am very much a fan of this new jungle change, where I can be a good jungler and get rewarded for it by having a buff for myself and a buff for my friend.
We loved that in Clash the other day. I was like, oh, I get red buff. You get red buff.
I mean, you say that like I wouldn't normally give you red buff.
That's why I finished the sentence out as Jonjo is just dead.
It's more like, ooh, I get red buff. The pains of being attacked. We didn't see anything. We didn't see anything, it's fine.
I think the reason
It's
behind
fine.
that was it stops backs.
Elder is spawning at this very
Exactly.
moment.
It
Unfortunately,
stops backs.
Elmar's back was not denied. So, this could be a full 5-on-5 fight if the members of the Frostbite Gladiators can get here in time. Shenzhen and Ramco, however, they're running into OC. He's going to try and play Delayance. Has to use the ultimate to get out, but the damage is done. The job is done. They get the Elder Drake, and they abscond with their prize.
And still, all of these inhibitors are up and standing.
The longer this timer goes, the more and more the Gladiators need to be worried. There is no hyper-scaling threat. Yes, Xayah is good in the late game, but she is never going to do as much damage as a Jinx, as a Zeri, as an Aphelios. It just doesn't fill that same role.
Yeah, but neither's Ezreal. In fact, arguably Xayah's going to do more than Ezreal because her damage is more reliable. Still scaling.
That's a lot of
330 Stardust
Stardust,
total. This not going to have the Sky's Descent for a while, though, because you've just blown it out of nowhere.
That... I actually don't know how much it potentially contributed to picking up of the Elder. I didn't see if it did cancel the back from Plat Police. So it did contribute heavily to the successful pickup of that. And I mean, I think he's already got it back. I don't see a little bar underneath his ultimate right now.
He doesn't. I'm looking at the icon. The icon changes. That is Falling Star. Sky's Descent is more purple.
Well, Lai gets a little bit damage down onto John Joe. The flash was not available for this rumble, and there is no defensive options aside from the Breath of Life. Like there is now a stopwatch that has just been picked up by Elmar. That is okay. That's a wave clear ultimate. I was about to say, oh boy, where is that true shot going? In goes the ultimate from Plat Police. It's going to be followed up though. The damage is there. The Elder will take its toll. However, that is the damage from Ramco, making it go. Zypher trying to back away, trying to do the damage, but this Zaya is going to keep on trucking. It's able to kite, is able to move, will pick up a quadra kill. Zypher is the only one left, and I think he would pay any price to survive this. It is... The 4 members still up. There are Shirelias pushing straight on down the lane. Zypher will be able to go back. Will be a full health Aurelion Sol, but you've still got Jonjo going forward. You've still got Elmar going forwards. And sure, Aurelion Sol is okay at playing backwards, but you really need to wait that 15 seconds before Old Boy comes back up, or you are in some serious trouble. Ramco picks up yet another one. Jonjo was able to survive that as well. The stopwatch from Elmar keeps him alive too, and the base is being broken open. The respawns are now coming through though. The Gladiators know this, and they will get out with 2 inhibitors destroyed.
Ramco MVP of this series, or what? A beautiful flash blade caller to just completely break the ankles of full control.
Yeah. So, that was a Malphite, you know, who was like 4-0 at one point. Blade Caller chopped him to pieces like he was nothing.
The feathers cut them to ribbons.
Which weighs more, a pound of stone or a pound of feathers?
Neither, they weigh the same.
Have you seen that Limmy clip?
Yeah.
Yeah. Production agrees. Fantastic.
I could do the clip if you'd have wanted me to, but you gave me no inkling whatsoever.
Granted, I didn't say kill. Yeah, I should have quoted the thing properly, because it's which one's more a kilogram of steel or a kilogram of feathers. In this game, it's the feathers, by the way.
Oh yeah. It's definitely the feathers in this game. You look at the 923 Zyra and the 527 Malphite, the feathers win every single time.
Yeah.
Elder is also gone because everybody died there, bar Zephyr, and it won off Zephyr anyway.
Yep. Right now, it is a full push towards the top side. Jonjo is going to weave back and forth. Good amount of damage coming down, but there's no ultimate available. Jonjo is going to go golden. Elmar looking to go forward. That's a TP coming in. OC is looking for the angle in. Lyre finds a fantastic Curse of the Sad Mummy. Ramco, however, is still alive. He is still flying out those feathers. They are trying to chase him down, but with the Maw of Malfordius, he is healing more than they can do damage. He gets on out of there. Elmar is still alive. However, that is a 1 fight for full counter. They trade Lyre for 3 members of the Gladiators, and more importantly, they hold on for the time being.
Fighting into a choke point into Zaya is terrifying.
Back into it.
She's trying to solo the Baron.
Hold up. Watch out, watch out, watch out! Oh boy, with the snipe from downtown. And we'll find the recall. We'll find the kill on to Ramco.
She's dead for Elder.
He's dead for 55 seconds. That is going to be a potential second Elder pickup for full counter. This game continues.
Oh, this isn't good for my blood pressure.
It's so hard to call. Ramco has been playing out of his mind in every single one of these fights.
This is so bad for my blood pressure.
Surely a second Elder is enough. Warrior Trickster reveals that Elmar is there. They know that the potential steal is there. It's an Ocean Rift as well, so that brush inside the pit has to be respected. They're trying to pull the Elder out. Now they will start it in earnest. He's still hovering. They don't currently have any vision over the wall. And it looks like they are going to try and run down mid. Elmar may be purely just simply on recall stop duty. We do see the recalls coming through. Elmar goes forward. He's going to deny every single recall. They are inside the base right now. Sure, the Wukong is down, but he has a Guardian Angel, and they are breaking down the Nexus turret. One falls, two falls. It is Zyphit alone inside the base. Old boy will come back. He will try to do something, but he runs face to face with Ramco, and it is the call from the Frostbite Gladiators to ignore the Elder, to sacrifice the Wukong, to claim themselves the game and the series.
Oh my god, the decision making, the snap second choices made by the Frostbite Gladiators come through in droves as they take game 2 and the series on top of that. Production must be over the moon.
Ramco's an absolute madman, by the way. Just saying. That
I don't know who I want to talk to more, Ramco or John Joe, because I think it'd be funny to talk to John Joe, but Ramco played so well.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt there shouldn't be any doubt in anyone's mind who the the prime carry of those games were. Elmar, worth a shout out, had a very solid performance in game 1. The Amumu did exactly what it needed to do, which was set up so Ramco could take over the game. And game 2, he didn't even need that help.
That was nuts. That was insane. That was absolutely balmy.
It's always just as you think. Could it be winnable? It's just as you think. Hey, that's a second Elder being picked up. Full counter. Have been doing a fantastic job of defending for the most part. 2 Elders. Potentially they can pick up a Baron. Potentially they can turn this around. And I don't know who made the call. I'm going to need to ask who made that call. They find the angle. They say, Elmar, make it look like you're going for a steal. Stop recalls. We're going to run it down mid, and we're going to try and end. And so it was. And lo, it was.
Holy crap.
Alrighty, we are going to have a very quick break, but when we come back, I'm being told that we have Ramco waiting, and we'll have a little chat before sending you on your way for the evening. Don't go anywhere. I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say. Welcome back, everybody. Short little break. Wanted to get right on into this interview, and we are joined by Ramco from the Frostbite Gladiators. And I feel like we don't need to beat around the bush here. Let's just throw MVP at you now. Congrats on that. First question, I have to ask this. I have to know this. Whose call was it to go for the end in game 2?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. I don't really remember, but I know I wasn't it for sure. I was just kind of laughing. But I think it was Jonjo or Goop, one of the two.
Well, hell of a call. Sacrifice the Wukong. End the game. A trade that is worth it every single way. But I also want to lean in on game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a rough start for you guys. Obviously, you got First Blooded. It felt like Fate was having a huge impact. And then that defining overcommit, shall we say, trying to go for you on the bot side.
Yeah, honestly, I think Shenzhen kind of trolled, but I'm kind of used to it.
Oof.
No, not really. I think that was just unlucky, but and then of course mid lane as well when Fresh went. I think it was level 3, and there wasn't really a call out, so I just think it's impressive how Goop took it like a champ, getting weak sided as a mid laner, getting ganked on repeat by enemy support, and he still had very good mental, and that just enabled me to do whatever I want bot lane. I could just farm, sit back, and skill, and then I mean, the champ is just so OP, so it does. I mean, I don't even have to do anything, like it does it from itself. I just get one reset, and then you just win the game.
It kind of felt like it.
Yeah.
Like after you got that Storm Razor, it felt like, okay, wow, Jinx is kind of a thing, huh?
Yeah, I also think that like in that comp, it's really easy for me to play, especially with Ghost and Gilverse. I can just play very aggressive, and also like minor positioning mistakes won't get punished as easily. And that was really nice because I mean I had most of the gold, so if I make a mistake, we just lose. But because of that, it was really pretty easy to play. So I just want to thank our guy Villains for the drafting, because game 2 I wanted to fourth pick ADC and go Vayne, and he told me Zaya was better, and I didn't believe it. But now that I look back on the game, I think Vayne was really unplayable there, and like Zaya was way easier. So
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Now, I want to ask. That second game was very back and forth a lot. And of course,
yeah,
Old Boy ended up going 7-0 at one point. Was there any point where you guys kind of had to take a step back and go, okay, well, how do we pull ourselves over the finish line, or you all just pretty kind of kind of lax, kind of happy to go forwards with how the game was going
no, I
and
think there
trust in your
were
own
some.
ability?
Yeah, I think there were some pretty tense moments, and we're also like kind of unsure if it's gonna be if we can pull it back, because Aesol just stalls out the game for so long with his E and W. He just keeps on clearing waves, so even if we get Baron, it's still really hard to siege versus their comp because of their wave clear with Aesol. But I think we played pretty good macro wise. I mean, of course, we got catched some moments, and it made the game way harder. But I think we played good objective wise, like with the dragons, and we decided to give up soul. I think we were on soul point just to get mid tier 2 and top tier 2, and I think that really accelerated us in the game. Like that was made it way easier because we got a lot of gold, and we could have we had time enough at that point, so we could have just contested the next Drake. So
Yeah, I mean, from giving one dragon to getting a steal on the next, I'm glad that I was able to read that situation well. But yeah, it was definitely a very, very good call. Now, I believe Penumbral Samurai is going to come in with questions from chat.
Yeah.
Well, we'll ask them, but
I think
or
Penumbral
you.
Samurai is happy to.
Oh, it's okay. If you've got the questions, you're more than welcome to. Goodbye, chat.
Okay, go for it, Brackish.
So, I'm trying to think of. Need to see some actual good questions. Yeah, that feels like the one. So, Garbush, thank you for the question. How do you guys feel you stack up relative to the teams in Group A? And obviously, come playoffs, you're going to have to face them. How are you feeling about the team's general performance right now compared to Group A?
I mean, I think we should definitely be top 4. But the problem with Group A is, I think, that they are all really close to each other as well. And here, like, I'm not saying full counter is like worse because they're players, but I mean, they are just lower in the standings. I don't think they can make playoffs anymore. So I think like our group is kind of easy in that view, and Group A is obviously really close. I mean, we haven't scrimmed that many Group A teams, but they all look like they are pretty close to each other and like pretty good in general. There are very experienced players on it, but then again, I'm not sure if being experienced in VL is good because it kind of means you're hard stuck. But I think, like general, the Group A teams might be better, I would say. So I'm kind of now I'm not really scared. I'm kind of looking forward to it, but I think it will be hard matchups heading into the next stage.
Absolutely. I think cautiously optimistic or respectfully optimistic.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, this is kind of arcade, guys. Can we keep it going, or do I keep it going?
I'm looking.
You guys are
I'm looking for
doing a
other.
good job, by the way. The production, I have never really experienced this. Production is good.
Man, these questions. There was like one good question in chat.
Is the rest just about a toaster? Or?
Yeah, we had.
Yeah.
Hello, by the way, production is chiming in. Yeah, we had one question from your former jungler, maybe asking. But I would like to ask, just chiming in here. How did you find Elmar subbing in as a jungler? Obviously, played that Wukong that the full counter played in game 1, and then was able to pilot it a lot better. Yeah, as just a final remark. How did you find your jungler's performance today?
His in-game performance was good, but I don't know what happened, man. It was chaos in co. Like, he legit was doing something else in champ select, and he had 2 seconds to pick, and he just randomly locks in a Amumu for the first time. So I think that was definitely interesting. Then in game 2, we had to start because of the time limit, and he just wasn't there in the voice call. But I think that also made it quite funny. Definitely interesting. But I think his overall performance was like really good. He helped me a lot of times on bot lane. And obviously, game 1 start was really rough because he lost a lot of HP on Amumu. But then somehow game 2 is just a copy, but like onto like just reversed. And I think he just played really well in general. But I think it was a good team performance anyway. I don't think one player deserves credit for it. Not me, not Elmar. I think overall calls were good today, and even if Goop didn't have the best KDA, I think he was really good in leading, and he took like every gank like a champ. He just died, and he didn't complain about it. I mean,
Good
that's also
deaths.
art, to be fair.
Good deaths, everyone.
I couldn't do
Well,
that yet.
Obviously, that does put you currently clear at the top of Group B with 3-0. I had to double check. When's the production? If we can double check, what's the next game for Deja Vu? And obviously, if they win, they can at least match up with you at the top of the group. But for now, gotta feel pretty good, I imagine, to be clear at the top.
Yeah, but it doesn't say much, I would say, because I've been cleared the top before, and then we just fall apart. Well, not really fall apart in playoffs, but I mean, it just goes worse, and other teams get better. And if you don't put in time to like at least practice something, I don't think like practice really makes you better, because obviously we are all like platinum and we aren't really evolving. But I think it definitely does something for team chemistry and just how you view the game. So I think if we just keep on like playing scrims often, we should do pretty good in playoffs.
Looking forward to see it. Of course, that will do it for us with do it for us for now at least. We'll let you go. Thank you for coming for the interview, Ramco, and of course
No
we'll
problem.
keep
Also,
track
thanks
of
for
you
the good
guys throughout the
production,
rest
by
of
the way.
this
This is kind of insane.
play. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Shout out to Penumbral Samurai, by the way. Obviously, go to doing the production for us today, and I believe that'll do it. Any final thoughts, Drew?
No, I mean we got to see definitely some kind of League of Legends today. I'm here for it. It's the first time we've cast in a few months, so all in all,
Man, I can feel the rust. It's
yeah, no
it's
kidding.
spice it up. That is going to do it for us. Thanks once again to you for coming and watching, Drew for subbing in on the cast. You just wanted an excuse to get away from coaching, didn't you?
No, it's my day off today.
Oh. You're doing it with
Uh-huh.
me then.
Hmm?
Doing it here with me then.
You needed someone, and our other plans got cancelled, so here I am.
Let's go. Goated gamer, Drew. Anyway, thank you again to Penumbral Samurai, hidden away in the deep recesses of audio hell, I guess. And we will see you for another Valence League broadcast very, very soon. Take care, be awesome to everybody, and we will catch you next time.
See you soon.